this is my brother Jeff, and he actually sells granite stones, and he's going to talk a little bit about them. Just explain it. What kind of granite is this, Jeffrey?
Well, this is that rose-colored granite, and it's the same stuff that they used in Egypt in a lot of the projects out there. When they used granite, this is just a regular basic granite, tombstone granite, but these are Belgian block, and obviously they come from different areas. And it depends what minerals are in them. I mean, this granite here is like a, granite that they stuck in the old farmhouses and everything. This is very hard to work with. Matter of fact, this came off my property, and I've never seen stone so hard as this.
Could this stone be shaped with another stone, no problem?
Yeah, I mean, as long as you have a harder stone and you beat on it long enough, you can. One thing about granite, it's very predictable if you want to snap it.
Right.
These types of granites you could snap anywhere you want. If you score them and snap them, they'll snap perfect. This one here, not so much. Depends what minerals are in it.
Okay, and once I get it down and I want to polish it, what would I do ancient way?
Well, you just take a flat stone, very flat stone, and you would put water on there and sand. Water and sand and back and forth and around. And it would take that right down and give that like a honed finish, almost like a polished finish. Matter of fact, years ago when I put my countertops in, I did them by hand with sandpaper. I did all the edges by hand, and they come out just as beautiful as the top. Can certainly be done.
Now these are the two stones that my brother brought me. And if you look at them, you want to get them close, you got a big bump right here. So what you do is, if you're a carver, I'm not a carver, you look at it, it's straight except for about here, but I got this big bump here. So how long is it going to take me to get this bump off? Well, I'll just take another piece of granite and I'll just start hitting it, and when you hit it in. You hit it in towards the rock, because if you hit it out, you'll chip the sides off. So you always kind of hit it in. And depending on how much you want to take off, see, look at it all coming off of there. Everybody says, oh, you can't do that. Don't you know you need aliens to help you? Look at, it's coming off. No big deal. You can see it. You need special tools. They couldn't do it that way. So it's 30 minutes later. It took me 30 minutes to get that spot off. Look at the stone. You can see where it's beat. It's still holding up. Once in a while a piece will flake off. But that's it. It's not a big deal. Look at how much I took off already. I got that whole thing off. If I want to take that little piece off, I just beat on a little bit. Look at, it's coming off. It's not a big deal, it just takes a long time. And you let the stone do the work. See that knob coming off? Look at it, it came off already. See that? I get down here. Now I'm gonna draw a line here and it goes straight down. If I go straight down, I chip that off. See that? Oh, you need special tools, you need chisels. The aliens are gonna help you. Come on. Over here, we have pieces of limestone. Same thing they built the pyramids with. If I wanted to cut a piece off with just a little brick hammer, it's not a big deal. I could take my time and do it any way I want. If I wanted to do it with a piece of granite, same thing, it's not a big deal. Watch. Take it off, turn it over, take it off. Not a big deal. If I want to refine it more, I just get my stone and I just keep cutting into it. I can make that as flat as I want. Cutting into limestone like they did the pyramids is no big deal. They're all trying to tell you it's, oh, this, it's that. They made polymenture, or I don't know what they call it. Look at, I could get that angle if I want. I could use the other stone and grind it down. Same thing. Now let's use a harder stone. This right here what we call marble. So let's just say I want to cut into the marble. If I use a brick hammer, no problem. Get in there with the brick hammer. If I want to use a piece of granite as a hammer, same thing. No big deal. If I want to put this down, same thing. See that? I'll get my lines, just the same thing. Now, they're saying, oh, copper tools are no good. Or we don't know how they did it with copper tools. Well, here's a piece of copper. And I'm going to make my point. If you've seen me ever working with Honest Jardy, this is a copper pipe. And I got to do this to prove my point. But everybody thinks it's a big deal, but it's not. That's the copper. So we're just going to flatten this out like a chisel. And if we wanted to do, let's say, see this? I did that with a saw. If I just want to draw a little line in here, no big deal. It works. See that? I could carve letters with that. That's not a big deal. So don't let them be telling you all this stuff that they're telling you about how they made the pyramids, because because to me it's dead dumb and stupid. It's simple. Anybody could do it today like they did it yesterday. Here's the tools they use for carving. Looks like Wayne Ferry stuff. And here's the chisels. Stone tools. They had rope. Axes. Chisels. There's like a hatchet there. That can be used for cutting stone. Bronze blades of axes. The plow, yeah. I made my homemade axe. You know, for carving down. I made my little sketch here with what the Sphinx is going to look like. And I could do it like this. I could start carving it off like this. I could just use another rock like this if I want to get some time. See? It's a little sharp, but you get the idea. I could get in there and start carving it away. Let's see how we're doing here. And then I just got another piece of granite. You see that? Just a piece of granite. And you start rubbing it like that. And then you just get another piece of limestone. And that is going to polish it up. So I'm getting there. Like I said, I'm not winning no trophies. But I'm going to make another point. This is a piece of copper. Now, you know and I know, all the experts say they couldn't do it. That's all they had was copper. How did they do it? Now, if you look at a real picture of this, it's really protruding out there. That's the face of it. These are pictures when I was in Egypt. And we can't do that. But all we're going to do is we're going to get some pieces of granite. See them? Right here, some sharp pieces of granite. We're going to go into here and we're going to start digging in. So I kind of got around the sides a little bit. I get up in here. I got to get the pointed stuff, and I got to get a little more careful and start carving it out from there. It takes a while to do this stuff, but I'm doing it. Cutting this down, and pretty soon I'm going to have the sides finished Well, so far I got as far as I want to go, and I'm not doing it perfect because I don't know how. But I carved the sides out, and now I got to deal with the face. So I decided that we're going to go up to Wayne Ferree Studios. He was a carver on the National Washington Cathedral. And I'm going to let him help me out with the face and give us some pointers on doing faces. So here we go.
Hi, I'm Wayne Ferree, professional stone carver. My friend and mason Mike Haduck came over, and he had started a sphinx carving out of limestone. And he wanted to show how limestone could be carved with different things other than tools, traditional tools. He brought over a piece of granite that could be used to peck and chip away at a piece of limestone. A lot of the Egyptians were known to have had copper tools, and a lot of ancient alien theorists believed that, you know, the work couldn't have possibly been done with copper tools. Well, it could, especially if you're talking about limestone.
Today I'm going to take this piece of granite and I am going to cut into it like they did the sarcophagus and everything, because they said, oh, it can't be done. But I'm going to do it with just using this these stones, and it's not going to be a big deal. I'm going to show you that everything they're telling you is nonsense. So to get the big stuff off, you just use another piece of granite and you start chipping it off. Oh, Mike, it can't be done. You don't understand. They had ancient technology and all that other stuff. I'm just using those little granite pieces, but I also got this from an archaeologist, and it's flint, and it's what the Indians traded from Ohio and Indiana. It came, but they found it on sites here in Pennsylvania, and you could use this too. See, all you gotta do is get a stone as hard or harder to get this off. Now it could be done. You just look for the weak spot, you keep pitching it in there. No big deal. Now you can see my primitive hammer. I just put the granite in here and I just beat on it like this. See? No big deal. Yeah, it takes a long time. Let's try this side. But it's coming. Now these guys who did this and they were doing the unfinished obelisk, yeah, it took them a while. You gotta see, when you're working with granite and you're not cutting into it, you gotta crush it. So you just beat on it, and you can see the crystals in here, like this crystal top. My hammer's falling apart. Just take it down. Now I'm going into my granite, and here's my lines. I don't want to go past these lines to make that. Now you could use copper if you want. You know what I mean? It works, but you got to keep sharpening everything all the time. See, it bends. See, it bends. Look at that. We're not doing that. We're just pounding it. See how I'm pounding it? And I'm pounding it very lightly, not to break it. And I just keep taking it off the high spots and digging into it. And then as I get closer, I'm going to have to get a little more delicate with it on the sides. It's nothing that can't be done. Now the secret is, when you're dealing with this granite, you can't go too deep because you'll crack this off. So you got to go lightly and just kind of wear it away. Takes a long time. I come out here, you know, for 10, 20, 30 minutes. I might get like a 1/16 of an inch down, but I'm getting it. Well, it has to be obvious that this is taking a long time, so I'm only going to go so far with it. I was going to go all the way back to here, but I think I made my point. And I've been out here doing it a little bit every day. And you'll see now after this scene pretty much what it looks like when it's finished. See, you got to work it, you got to crush it, you got to get these knobs off. I don't know if the camera could see that. You got to keep splitting some what do you call it, granite up, making it work. But I got it, see? So this is the end result. You see that? I carved that into there with just using pieces of granite. And I'm not going to lie to you, it took a long time to do it. I keep coming out a little bit at a time, maybe a 32nd of an inch, and I get it. Now this is a stone from Machu Picchu and Sacachuayan in Peru. And I'm going to tell you the same thing with this stuff. You just rub it together like this, and you keep rubbing it, and you can wear it down and make it as shiny as you want. So you can't listen to them when they're telling you that. Now we're going to go to Egypt. Last time I was in Egypt and I went to the unfinished obelisk. They had an example there, or an exhibition, where you got the Dolrite pounder. Now to me that proved my point. All you got to do is keep pounding it if you want to get the shape you want. Now if you want to shape a piece of granite, let's just shape a little piece like this. We're not going to make a big deal out of it. We just want to smooth this out. All you do is get another piece of granite and start beating on it. See? And then you get it down. Now if you look on my video on Makari, you could see the sides of that pyramid were all granite and it was unfinished. That's what they were doing. They laid this first and then they got the rocks and they start grinding it down. It doesn't work fast, but yep. That's what you do. You got to get it down. Now it took me about 10 minutes to do that, but do you see the incave in it? No big deal. All it does is take time, and I wouldn't doubt they made like axes out of this. And you've seen my video on Egypt when I went to the unfinished obelisk. So all this stuff could be done just like Cusco in Peru, no big deal. All you gotta do is pattern one side, pattern the other side, no big deal. So that's it, the same stone on the other side. You can see where I concaved it in here like this. All you gotta do is beat on granite with a harder stone. Now let's go to the museum, and they had a display in the Egyptian Museum of all the stones that they used in Egypt.
This is all the stone?
These are all the different stones.
All the stones in Egypt.
In Egypt.
All the stones in Egypt.
So we seen when we went to the museum that they had all different stones in Egypt that they could have used a harder stone to do a softer stone. Now this is from the quarries of the pyramids in Egypt, and you don't have to steal them. It's like gravel laying all over the place, and you could get vendors who will sell these to you. So, and right on the spot. So now we know that the pyramids, 95% were made out of limestone. This is a piece of limestone. And now I'm going to do a very small example of how you could just get copper and bang on it like this and turn it and drill a hole in limestone. Now this is just a small example, but we're going to talk about drilling through stone. Okay, this is a piece of limestone and this is a star chisel. These are two star chisels. And the old timers, to cut a hole, they just tap it and turn it, tap it, turn it, tap, turn, tap, turn, tap, turn, and they keep going. That's it. You tap it and you turn it, you tap it and you turn it, and you tap it and you turn it. That was an old-time drill. See how you drill a hole in limestone with that? Now you got a lot of people out there saying, here's a piece of copper, here's a piece of copper. It's impossible. We don't know how they did it. Let me get it back here a little bit. And you hold it and you start turning. This is copper. Everybody's got to agree with me. And you can see the stuff popping out. See it? So let's prove my point a little farther. I'll take this piece of copper like that, if I can do it. Okay, I'll take that piece of copper and I'm going to go over here and I'm going to use it as a star chisel, okay? So we know we could drill with copper, no big deal. Now here's that sample of granite. My God, look at, we're going through granite now. How did they do it? I don't know. It was aliens, it was this, it was that. I'm going through the granite. Now it's going to take a long time. I understand that. And I'm not going to lie to you, it wouldn't be easy. But it could be done. Another thing is you stick the rock in there like that, a harder rock, and you turn it. That'll do it. My God, I have a hole in the granite. How did they do it? Well, I'm going to tell you something. It'd take a long time, and you'd have to keep changing the stones, of course. But yeah, it could be done. I love when they say it can't be done. It could be done. So I think I covered the basics, and that's all I wanted to do was prove to you that all this stuff could be done. The difference between yesterday and today is we got the diamond-shaped tools and everything. We could do it in an instant. They took days and weeks and months and years sometimes. But everybody should know this. When you first quarry a stone, it comes out of the ground softer than if you lay it sit for years. So that's one of the things you got to know about quarrying. Now, the pyramids, some of them had granite the first 20, 30 feet or whatever, and that's because of the sandstorms. And I've been in sandstorms. I spent time in the desert over there. I was in the military. So one of the other things you should know is when they quarry stone, it's kind of patterned already, and they put those pieces together. You could take a whole mountain out of a quarry and replace it and face it like they did in Machu Picchu. I don't think that's a big deal. One of the things I said about Machu Picchu, and I say it today, is when you start working on these big jobs, you never ask the architects or the engineers or all the smart people how to do something easy. You always get the laziest guy, because the laziest guy will always find the easiest way to do it. I've seen it done before, and I'm sticking to that.